Where do we begin? Seriously, where do we begin? Every year, I'm only 0-2 after today, but this loss is disgraceful to a team that could be and should be building. I know every single year we get tired of the same old shit. Every Sunday we just get tired of chilling with this. Cause we have this cool QB and this offense get lit. We're some Colts fans, and every year we get these receivers in our rushing defense. We think we have it all made, but we don't have none of this. We are so sick and tired of this underperformance and crap. Fire our D coach. Repeat the cycle every fall, and I'm tired of it. We have all the tools and tangibles to deal with this. Got a QB back in 2023 who could be the greatest QB in the world if it wasn't for the O-Sync, and I'm tired of this. How did we get outrun by Malik Willis and that Packers D-line without Jordan Love? You don't have to say this O-line's okay, but we need to improve some things, and we know it's got to stray. As I'm tired of seeing this now. I'm seeing those Super Bowls, nothing but doubt. But every year we get tired of this. I get wasted every Sunday after IU beats UCLA. Congrats to Coach Diggs, but that has gone away. Cause you know I'll be cheering for them for Indianapolis. I'm a Colts fan, and we need something positive to cheer us up like you with that win. Cause you know I gotta cheer for Coach Siggs and this, and we'll have a podcast about us pretty soon about this. After it was delayed, no, I get lit. We could be doing better. An example of these kids who've never seen a title raised up on the banners. Hello everyone, this is Bleed Bloody Blue. Another episode back at it again. It's 3:52 p.m. in the East Coast, and I have to tell you that the Indianapolis Colts put up a good fight at the end of the game. During the last maybe minute or so of the game, Anthony Richardson pulled off Michael Penix at Indiana University to basically start a drive that could have really changed things for us and changed and swung the momentum a little bit. It was back and forth and up and down and left and right near the end. But at the end of the day, the Green Bay Packers beat us. We got one touchdown and one field goal. That were the only scores that we even got in that whole game. There was a lot wrong in this game. There was a lot right in this game. Let's go first to the things that were right. And the first thing that was right was the ending. And the ending was really good by Anthony Richardson, as he has the late game capabilities to possibly be one of the best QBs to play in late game situations. But overall, throughout the game, this Colts team absolutely struggled. I mean, we were struggling to basically keep up the momentum in the first half, and then in the second half, it began to swing in our favor, and we got defensive stops, we got putbacks, and Malik Willis was having really a harder time than he did in the first half, by a long shot. And I have to admit, though, the Indianapolis Colts are a team of resilience. Like I'm watching right now, the Detroit Lions are also another team of resilience, as they're going to rush this one. It's going to be 4th down, and they could be getting a field goal to make this one 20-19 Buccaneers, and I'll lose a lot of money off that one. But I'm just going to say it that this Colts game overall was one of struggle, was one of might, was one of skill, but the first half of the game was probably the most disappointing. Because throughout this whole game, too, I was wondering the same thing. The first and most obvious answer as to why we were terrible was strictly because of the rush defense. And the rush defense was really bad today, giving up yard after yard after yard in the first half. And Jordan Love, not even being in the picture of this game, was kind of manipulating the bench a little bit and getting Malik Willis to play what is his best game he's ever played in the NFL. We haven't seen stats like this since he was at Liberty. But the first few spots of this half were really just a lot of up and down, left and right swings later. But first, it looked like the Packers were going to literally storm into Lambeau and beat us so badly, in fact, that we were going to get swept out of the most historic venue in all of college, in all of NFL, all the NFL. But in my opinion, the Colts' best parts, besides Anthony Richardson late game, were the moments where Anthony Richardson would throw the ball and pass the ball. Alec Pierce was good a little bit. We had one touchdown. Matt Gay was good. But how did we get outrun by Malik Willis? Like we talked about him earlier. And I think to myself, how did we get outrun by him in that offensive line? And you have to remember, Jordan Love was out of this game strictly because he suffered a leg injury against the Philadelphia Eagles in Mexico, and that turf was total crap. I don't know what it was about the turf over in Green Bay, Wisconsin, or what kind of cheese curds they put underneath the grass, but my God, our quarterbacks were very rocky at first, and then our O-line running the ball was just nothing for us today. Passing was a little better. Not great. It would have been nice to maybe have started Joe Flacco in parts of it. But my goodness, very hard. Very debilitating to say the least to keep seeing the O-line do this every single year where they're not protecting the dang quarterback. We're a terrible team when it comes down to protecting our own QB, our own flesh and blood. And as a matter of fact, it's very hard to see this when it ever comes down to games like we saw last night with Indiana and UCLA. That game was an absolutely fantastic game, and I use this example a lot, especially when I'm talking about how the Colts could improve like the Hoosiers did. Of course, forget about Purdue. They lost 66-7 over a team that should have been beating Northern Illinois yesterday. We'll have more to talk about this on a podcast coming up on Tuesday, and I've decided that the podcast schedule will be Tuesdays and Sundays, with YouTube videos being Tuesdays and Saturdays. And before we go any further, let's go to today's sponsor.
This video or podcast is sponsored by Amazon Music. Thousands of podcasts and shows are made every day, from the conversations of Joe Rogan to the crimes of Morbid, and music by 50 Cent and Sabrina Carpenter. Amazon Music has the right taste in music, podcasts, and shows for you. With a growing audience of 52.5 million people using Amazon Music every day, you can help in a contributing way to benefit this new version of what was once called radio. With thousands of music and podcasts to listen to, you can listen to our podcast too, keeping things in the middle. And with you signing up, listening to one of our episodes on your app or on your computer, you can help my podcast grow to become an ever-expanding podcast group and become a new member of our listening on Amazon Music. Please use our offer down in the description below, and it would help me a lot because it would help me earn a little bit of money. Amazon Music, the site where you need to go to listen to podcasts, stories, and music that may have you bopping the whole night through. Now, let's get to the show.
And now, so welcome back. We have to make sure that we're going to be talking about the Indianapolis Colts a lot more throughout the season. Next week's game is against the Chicago Bears, a game where you got two fantastic quarterbacks in Caleb Williams and Anthony Richardson, both good in their own right. And we have to focus on this week. I'm still kind of distraught in a way. I'm still distraught. Because, no, as I was mentioning, our rushing defense was really bad. And we can stress it all day long that we need to improve on that realm, which we do. I'm not saying we don't. It should be improved. It should be the number one focus. We make that defense on practice to try to stand out a little bit when they go back from Green Bay to Anderson, Indiana. And that is to get those guys performing at their best in terms of protecting their own by basically defending the rush, defending the passing that the opposing team is trying to impose on them. So it's all about trying our best to basically work our way through all these challenges that we had. Even receivers weren't catching balls today, which is another problem that we've been struggling with every single year. But as we go into the Bears game, we're looking at an O-line besides Caleb Williams that is really, really bad. Besides Caleb Williams, as mentioned. Now, they had that dude from Washington, who's also a really good defensive player. I will say, speaking of defense, that's going to be something I'm watching for next week. We were good. Letu was basically one of the best corners today. Got a strip sack and an interception earlier in the first half, which really was going to be a momentum shifter because the Green Bay Packers were just going to storm us out of Lambeau Field. And he did an amazing job at snagging the ball. The defense at times were good. But overall, as I could say overall, the Indianapolis Colts were not that good today. We were trash today. We were not very, there was not much actually to say that was positive other than the things that I mentioned. As we go to the other side on the Green Bay Packers, we'll be talking about them a lot. Their O-line is so good. Their O-line is really good. Their D-line started pressuring us and pressuring our secondary a lot. And they did a great job at protecting their own side of the ball. And their O-line kept running and passing and shooting and scoring. As Joe Davis made an analogy on the baseball reference in his broadcast, he said that, yeah, the Colts were dealt with 2 strikes out, innings pitched, multiple runs scored, and now they were just trying to form a comeback that never was. But that was when I thought the Packers really struggled, was near the end of the game. And for the overall game itself, the Packers were one of the best offensive and defensive teams out there. Matt Gay, as we mentioned, did an incredible job kicking, and Anthony Richardson did an incredible job passing the ball when he was doing good so far. I don't know what else to say. It's very painful to see a win just snagged that close to us. At the end, we had a chance. But, again, it's another stressful 0-2 start for the Indianapolis Colts. We were 0-2 last year and then lost our quarterback by week 5 or 6. So I'm hoping we're not going to be repeating that again. And I don't want to repeat that again because we got 4 quarterbacks all lined up. It's about who's going to be doing good under pressure. We should be saving them for week 13, 14, 15, and 16. And Joe Flacco should just go back to Cleveland. That's what I think. But I don't know what kind of cheese curds or Wisconsin Badger bad luck there was to get the Packers to win this game today. I don't know if Caitlin Gill had something to do with it, but I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. It's very stressful knowing that our team had a win snagged at the end. We tried our best. It was almost like a baseball where, like, the Cardinals play the Astros, and the Astros score like 10 runs, and then the Cardinals are scoring like 7 runs, and then it's the bottom of the 9th. We have bases loaded, and we had 2 outs, and then all of a sudden the ball just drifted and drifted and drifted and drifted, and the catcher got it, and we lost the game. So it was a really big take me out to the ball game type of moment. The Colts themselves were okay at best. Today's performance was a C, and the Packers' performance was a B+. So those are the annual grades brought to you by Amazon Music. As we mentioned, you can use the promo code down in the description below and get your free stubs at using some music. And so I wanted to start this podcast earlier than expected. But yeah, stressful day in terms of our Colts. Hopefully we'll be back at it again when we play the Bears. And I will leave behind some stats to basically go off of what the game was today. And other than that, yeah, it's painful. 0-2 start for the Colts. The Packers are 1-1 on the season, and the Colts will play the Chicago Bears next week. But I'm just trying to look for the stats on here. But if I can't find them, we might end this episode early, which I know I could find the stats here somewhere to really go after a lot of these players and talk about stats and analogies. But yeah, if you can tell, it's been hard. It's been hard. And you know, look at this. The Detroit Lions just lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who were getting their payback after what happened last season. And so last season when the Lions and the Bucs met in the division, round. That was when things had changed for the Lions. And I'm not saying they will be a bad team. I'm just saying to myself that the Colts, especially, are not like the Detroit Lions. The Lions have a better D-line. I had them all over my fantasy team. They're a really good D-line, but the Buccaneers will win that game. They will win that game by the score of 20-16. The Lions missed a field goal at the end and intercepted the ball later. But no, Anthony Richardson today was 17-34 for 204 yards, 1 TD, and 3 interceptions, which is very uncommon for him. He threw a lot of interceptions today, more than usual. Jonathan Taylor was the rushing leader for today with 103 yards, with 12 carries and 8.6 yards on average. And in terms of touchdowns, there were none for any of the running backs. We had one touchdown by the great Alec Pierce, who's done an incredible job in the last 2 games catching balls. He only had 56 yards today compared to last week. It was not an improvement for anybody on the receiving end, as they were not able to catch the ball as good as they did before. And I will tell you that Matt Gay was another person that did a really good job today. He's probably my player of the game. Had 1 of 2 field goals made, and he only had a 50% completion rating, with his longest kicking yards being 34 yards. And so it was not that good of a performance by us, but again, we have to give our hats off to Alec Pierce, Anthony Richardson, and of course, Jonathan Taylor, as they did an incredible job today. In terms of scores from around the league in this, it's been a very topsy, very turvy day in the NFL. We have the Bills, that was Thursday. Today, the 49ers lost to the Vikings 23-17 as these scores are ongoing. The Seahawks are actually tied with the Patriots in overtime at the score of 20-20. There is a score tied with the Giants and Commanders. The Commanders and Giants are tied at 18. The Chargers beat the Panthers today 26-3. And the Saints completely blew out the Dallas Cowboys at Jerry's World and won 44-19. And the Browns beat the Jaguars leading the Jaguars 18-13 with a minute 36 left in the fourth quarter. The Jets game has just gone final. The Jets and Titans have just played their game, and the Jets won 24-17. Bucks, as we mentioned, beat the Lions 20-16, and it's a tie game over in Baltimore as the Ravens and the Raiders are tied at the score of 23-23. And so for the rest of the league, we have some games going on tonight. As many of you know, the Kansas City Chiefs expected to win big against the Cincinnati Bengals squad that could keep the game close. And they'll be playing at 4:25, and right now it's 4:07 p.m. on the East Coast. The Rams and the Cardinals have just started as the game is in the first quarter. And then the more games tonight are Steelers-Broncos at 4:25 and Bears-Texans tonight on Sunday Night Football. And then tomorrow we have the Eagles and Falcons at Lincoln Financial Field. That should be a very intriguing matchup, as I think Kirk Cousins is going to get hurt in that game. And Michael Penix is going to step in for his spot and actually upset the Philadelphia Eagles. I can see that happening. But other than that, that's all the scores that I can tell you about. And they're now showing the Commanders and Giants game on Fox. So we'll forget that today even happened to go into next week. And we're going to have 2 home games in the next 2 weeks. We play the Chicago Bears at home, and we play the Steelers, who are trash, at home. And so thank you all so much for listening to this quick analysis of what was going on today in the world of the NFL, in the world of the Indianapolis Colts, as we are bleeding bloody blue every single day, and we're racing like Ari Feimendyke to score the next touchdown and not pick any more interceptions. Be joining the Twitter Spaces here pretty soon, and I hope you all have a good day. And yes, go Colts.
Yeah! Stand up! Indianapolis! Stand up! Ha! Go blue! Ha! Go blue! Come on! Go blue! Stand up! Go blue! Come on! Go blue! Stand up! sky. O to the D-line. Come on, get behind the home team. Somebody scream, go blue! Come catch the feeling. Reach for the ceiling. Cause we getting that banner and we'll hang it up high. Scream for the home team. New rings and trophies. Go blue! Go Colts! Go blue! Go Colts! You wanna rock? You wanna roll? We gonna win it. The Super Bowl. Let's go! You wanna rock? You wanna roll? We gonna take it. The Super Bowl. You saw that comeback. You saw the drive. Tony D on the side. We got the pride.